Good evening, everybody. I'm Kath Lloyd from Make the Change, and it's Let's Talk. I know it's not a Wednesday night. I know I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but I've got a busy day tomorrow, and I will be heading up the M6 tomorrow evening. So I made the decision to join you an evening early, just so that I could get speaking to you properly and not in the dark like I did the other week at the motorway services on the way down from Scotland. So here we are. And tonight's Let's Talk is my top 10 tips to keeping yourself sane. Now, why did I decide to write these top 10 tips? Well, through my course of life, and since I have been starting to manage my stress levels a lot more efficiently, I suddenly realised that I was developing quite a process through, working with lots of different people and finding the systems that work best for me. And so I eventually decided to put these top 10 tips together and actually make them into a mini e-course. So I'll explain about that later. But when we are managing our stress levels, it is so easy to forget what we should be doing. The majority of the time, we work on automatic pilot, and it's at times when we are feeling very anxious, when we are feeling very stressed, when we are going through a difficult period of time, that the good habits that we have developed along the way, suddenly we forget all about them because we're so caught up in the issue that we are trying to manage. And so these tips are the things that I do every, daily, weekly, monthly. And I must admit that when I go through very stressful periods of times, I have to remind myself to do these things because even though we've created new habits, better habits, when we are caught off balance, when we are put through stress, we do quite easily revert back to our old habits. That's why I'm just saying this now, that, I do have to remind myself sometimes what I've got to do to keep myself sane. And in these difficult times, our time is very stretched. We have a lot more things to do. We might be caring for somebody or, going and visiting somebody and still managing your daily life. And so you might not be able to do all of these 10 things, but it's trying to keep some of them going so that you can keep some form of normality going in your life. Okay. And it's going to be what we can manage to do is going to be different for different people. I know which ones I fall down on, the ones that I find easier, and the ones I like doing the best. Because it's like anything, isn't it? There's always something you don't like. When you were at school, there was a day of the week, there was a course or a class that you didn't like, or a teacher you didn't like, and then there was the day of the week you didn't like, and then you get to work and there's a manager that you don't like, or a work colleague that you find difficult to get on with, and still maybe a day of the week that you don't like. And this is going to happen all of the time because life doesn't run as smoothly as we would like it to. But in a way, that's a good thing because it really highlights what we cherish, what is important to us, and what we are put here for, our purpose in life. And it means that we can also see what we are more grateful for, and perhaps what we should be more grateful for. So all of these ups and downs are here for a purpose, and they help us keep seeing and feeling and listening and cherishing. So yes, the times are very, very difficult, but with acceptance of these times and learning stress management tips or tips to keep yourself sane, it does become easier, even though it might not feel like it at the time. Okay, so let's crack on with the tips. All right, so the number one tip is remember to breathe. Now, I know this sounds a stupid thing to say because, ever since we were born, ever since the midwife, tapped us on the bottom, we have been breathing for ourselves. But it's about how we breathe that's really, really important. And when we're very anxious, when we're going through a difficult time, you're breathing, or at the other scale of things, when you're very excited and you're very energized, we're going to breathe in different ways. But especially when we are going through a stressful time, you might suddenly realize that your breathing is very, very shallow. Okay, so if your breathing is very, very shallow, your body isn't getting the oxygen it needs, and it's not I've forgotten. I can't say the word I want. Getting rid of the exhaling the stuff, or the oxygen. I've lost my words here, I'm afraid. All the stuff that our body doesn't want. All right, and so that's okay in the short term, but in the long term, that's not going to be beneficial to you, because you're not feeding your body with the right oxygen levels, which is going to have effect on your blood supply system that's going to all your organs, that's feeding your brain, feeding your heart, feeding your lungs, or and all the other organs in your body. And so that is going to have a huge impact on your physical self as well as your mental self. So remembering to breathe properly, and if you find that you're breathing very, very shallowly, then take a few moments just to try and get your state back. Try and get your breathing back. So try and go into a quiet area, find a little nook and cranny somewhere, outside if you can do, and just do some deep breathing. So you're breathing in for 3 nice and slowly, and then out for 3. Okay, so to extend your breathing even more, I would say to inhale for longer and exhale for longer. All right, but in times of deep stress, it's just trying to do a little bit more than you're doing already. All right, and that will actually help you clear your head. That will actually help you become a little bit more relaxed, and it will also help you to think more clearly, because in stressful times and situations, your brain's going like this and everything can become a fuzz. All right, so that breathing nice and relaxed in and out is going to help that. All right, number 2 is 5 minutes of cardio every morning. Now, I was taught this years ago by a great lady. I think she's still called the Healthy Girl. Alex Jones, her name is. And what she was teaching was, if you haven't got time to do anything else, put 5 minutes of time aside to work your body, to get your heart rate up, to get your metabolism working, so that your body is going to function more effectively for the rest of the day. So basically, you're waking your body up, all right, first thing in the morning. So, you could do this any way that you wanted to. What Alex Jones was suggesting is, you know, a minute of 5 different exercises that get your heart going. All right. So it could be a high step. It could be press ups. It could be sit ups. It could be stepping up onto a chair. All right. And to vary them each day, so your body isn't getting used to one sort of exercise. So it might be plank, okay? It might be as simple, if you can't do anything too strenuous, it might be things like just the old-fashioned exercises, to the side, perhaps trying to touch your toes, those sorts of things. They don't have to, so you've got to tailor it that suits your capabilities, but you do need to stretch yourself a little bit as well. Okay, number 3, essential oils. I find them really, really helpful. Okay, and really, really useful. So when I use them every day in my drinks, my first drinks of the day. The drink I've got here with me now has got some essential oils in as well. And I use doTERRA. doTERRA. I know it's back to front, I do apologise. All right. Now, they will help, so you can use them. Some of them, not all of them, you do have to double check. All right, and this isn't going to be the same for all brands. I'm only talking about doTERRA essential oils here. Okay, I've already talked about that you can use them in your drink, so they can be very, very refreshing, uplifting, calming, revitalizing. All right, you can use them topically, so you can put them on directly onto your body. And so if you've got some muscle aches and pains, you can rub them, perhaps put them in a carrier oil or a cream, and you can rub them directly on your body. Okay, if you've got a burn, you can do the same thing. Not in a carrier oil, but you can put lavender oil directly onto a burn, and I've used it. It works really, really well. Or you can use it, inhale it aromatically. Okay, and this is a really, really great way. If you are struggling to calm yourself, this is a really, really great way, because you can practice your breathing techniques with using the oils at the same time. And pick some oils are going to work better for different people, but I find if you pick an oil that you like, that is going to be even more effective. All right, because you're going to spend more time, breathing it in, enjoying the smell. All right, and wanting to have a little bit more of it as well. Okay, now, I'll explain that a little bit later. Okay, so that's essential oils that work really, really well with the breathing. Number 4. Okay, be mindful of what you're exposing yourself to. All right. We have the radio on in the car, the radio in the house or the telly. You've got social media, you've got your newspapers, your magazines, and everywhere there is so much negativity. Okay. The people that we work with, check what you're listening to with the people that you work with. You're going to have a group of people who are very motivational, inspirational, go-get people, very positive, and then you've got people who are, moany, groany, woe is me, everything's bad in the world. So be mindful of what it is that you are listening to, because that's going to be really, really important. Because if you're struggling yourself, your focus is going to be very, very switched on to picking up negativity. All right. So what we're wanting to do is change that. All right. So you're starting to pick up the positive. All right. So turn the radio off. Put some uplifting music on instead. turn over or just turn the news off. Have a month where you don't read the papers. All right. Check who you're chatting with at lunch times and who you're going out for a drink with. All right. And start to sieve the negative out of your life a little bit. I know it might be very naive and ignorant that you're not, that I don't spend a lot of time reading the papers and listening to the radio and the news. But in my mind, that if something big was happening in the world, you would know about it because people would be talking about it. All right. Or if you think there's something that you need to listen to that and then turn the rest off. So start being a little bit selective. And this also goes with what sort of music you're listening to as well. All right. When I taught for a living, and I had a 50-minute car journey, I'd have the choice of the radio or CDs. And I went through a period of time, I was thinking, I'm getting to work and I'm feeling so negative. And then I thought about the music I was listening to and I thought, oh, no wonder I'm feeling negative. So I got home, took those CDs out, put some different CDs in. And by the time I got to work, I was feeling a lot different to the day before. All right. So be mindful of what you're exposing yourself to. All right. Keep it more positive, more upbeat, more colourful, more refreshing, and more focused on how you want to be feeling. Because as soon as you start feeling more positive, you're going to start seeing and hearing more positive things that are going on around you, and so the cycle will go on. So be mindful, try and listen to more positive and uplifting people, music, correspondence, social side of things. Okay, so number 5 is get out in the fresh air every day. I'm lucky, I've got 2 dogs that need a lot of walking, and so I'm out there early in the morning and then again late afternoon. That's not going to be the same for everybody. I do realise that. All right. But getting out in the fresh air isn't just going to help you clear your head, but it's also going to be more beneficial to you because, there's your body, your skin and your eyes are going to absorb the vitamin D as long as we have some nice sunny weather. So try and get out into the fresh air, into the daylight, even if it's 10 minutes at lunchtime. All right. Park the car slightly further away from where you work, or get off the bus slightly earlier and walk, or the train. So you're getting some fresh air. All right. And just being outside in nature is really, really beneficial to you because it exposes you to, different colours, different settings, different sounds, and all the natural sounds are going to be soothing for you. All right. So, and when you're outside in the fresh air, that's another great time to start, really practicing your breathing as well. Okay. You don't need to tell anybody what you're doing if you feel you sound a little bit silly, but this is about you and trying to help you. Okay. Number 6, and this is one that I find quite difficult. Eat as healthily as you can. Okay. Now, that's a lot easier when you're feeling at one with yourself, when life is going smoothly, but as soon as your routine changes, it can make it very difficult. All right. So it isn't just about your routine that changes, it can be your thought processes, it will be, how you are relating to what's going on in your life at the moment. But eating as healthily as you can. All right. I'm not saying cut out the chocolate, forever. There are lots of different diets saying you shouldn't be eating any carbs, cut out all the fat, cut out all the sugar, but actually, all of these different foods are good for us. They give us a lot of different nutritional value, but it's a bit about sensible about what you're eating. Okay, and this is also about the time that you're eating as well. So try not to eat too late, a big meal too late in the day, and have a proper breakfast when you get up, because that's going to set your body up. Because if you are, say, visiting somebody in hospital, or elderly, or somebody elderly in a home, or just generally finding life very, very tough, it's amazing how your body uses up the calories. You may not think you're using up the calories, but just the anxiety and the stress that your body is going through is going to use up the calories. So you need to feed it with the right sort of calories. And I know that when you're going through a really difficult time that you don't feel like eating, because you're so emotionally involved in the situation that's going on, that your body isn't thinking about food, or you feel so emotionally uptight that is the last thing you want to do. All right, but you do need to eat and to drink sensibly as well. All right, so it's very easy to reach for a bottle of wine, or if you were a smoker, it's easy to go back to that old habit of smoking. So it's trying to be clear about what you're eating and why you're eating it, and is it going to be beneficial to you. Okay. Number 7, regular exercise. So yes, get out in the fresh air. Yes, you're doing your 5 minutes of cardio a day, but some regular exercise to keep your blood supply moving thoroughly, to keep your body oxygenated, all right, to keep it healthy. And it's about just doing what you can, even if it's only 20 minutes twice a day, all right? It's something. And if you can build it up a little bit, change it to 25 minutes a day for 2 days a week, or try and slot in another little section, then that is going to benefit you hugely. Okay, because if you think about it, if you are struggling with your stress levels, anxiety levels, keeping yourself sane, okay, and you start eating lots of biscuits, lots of chocolates, drinking lots of alcohol, which has got a lot of sugar in it, as well as the alcohol levels, and you're reducing your exercise. Okay, yes, your weight is going to go up, but also, the combination of higher caloried foods and less exercise, in the long term, that's not going to do the rest of your body good. It's not going to do your cholesterol levels good, so it's not going to do your heart any good. So this is why it's really, really important. Okay, and it is all just going to make you feel so much better. Even, it is tough and it is hard when you're going through real tough situations, but you do need to look after yourself. Because if you don't look after yourself, there's only going to be a few people who are going to point things out to you. Come on, you need to eat a proper meal. Come on, you need to go for a walk. And if you're not in a good place, how are you going to help the other people who are you meant to be supporting? Okay. So, number 8, gratitude. Now, this is something I do on a daily basis. It's been something I've been doing for years. And your gratitude really helps concentrate your mind. It really helps you focus on why you're here, what you appreciate, what you value. And it can be things like hearing the birds singing, watching the sunrise, having a good meal, enjoying that meal, having a constructive conversation with somebody, learning something new. And when you're going through a difficult time, this will help boost your positivity levels, because again, it's about your focus. And if you're really in a dark place, this exercise might be really, really difficult at first, because you might think, well, nothing good is happening. The people that I love are leaving me, or, I've been made redundant, and how am I going to keep a roof over my head and look after my family? And all of these are the things. But in a period of 24 hours, there will be something, however small it might be, there will be something that you are grateful for. Whether it is a hug off somebody, or somebody says, hello, it's nice to see you, or somebody asks you how you are. Okay, it isn't always about the big stuff. Okay, yes, we are grateful for our health and our roof over our head and a loving family and a job and a holiday and all of those things. But for me, it's about the little things that make life even more great. So really think about the little things that are going on, which will really help boost your mood. And you will, and write it down as well, so you don't forget it, because it's so easy to forget these things. So write it down so that you can refer back to it if you need to. Okay, number 9, positive anticipation. Okay, now this is all about focus, going back to focus again. So positive anticipation is, how do you want to be feeling? All right. So if you say, oh, there's nothing good in the world. Oh, everybody's out to get me. Nothing's going right. I can't see how anything's going to improve. That you are feeding yourself with negativity. Okay. Now, again, when you're in times of dire straits, it can be difficult to see how you want to be. All right. But you really need to think through the situation you're going through. And the way I do this is to step out. Separate yourself out from it. And once you've practiced this, it's a really good strategy for helping yourself. So it's about trying to step out of yourself so you can see what's going on from a different viewpoint. All right. So you can say, okay, this is how I'm feeling now, but this is how I want to be feeling. Okay, instead. And don't feel guilty about it, because it's so easy to feel guilty about being happier, being more content when there's such, trauma or tragedy going on in your life at the moment. All right, but you have got to help yourself so that you can move forwards, because whatever is going on will come to an end, will resolve itself in some way. Okay, and it will become easier. But to make it easier, It's about your thought processes, and the things that I'm going through in this top 10 tips for keeping yourself sane is helping you to do that. All right. So positive anticipation is really, really important. And what I help people with is, before you go to bed at night, do your gratitude. Okay, write it down. And then, how do you want to be tomorrow? What do you want to be feeling? What do you want to be thinking? How do you want to be behaving? All right. So one of the feelings might be, I want to feel happier. Okay. Now, if you think about it the night before, when you wake up in the morning, your brain will have processed that information, and you're more likely to wake up with that positive attitude. All right. If something happens and you go back to the negative, all right, then stop yourself. Okay, stop yourself in your tracks and say to yourself, this isn't the plan for the day. All right, this isn't how I want this day to pan out. It's not what I planned for. So, yes, this has happened, but the way I'm feeling now isn't conducive to the way I want to be feeling. So park that feeling and then reprocess the feeling that you do want. Okay, and live it through. Okay. And doing that, if you take some deep breaths, like I showed you earlier, all right, perhaps use some essential oil to help you do that, and that will help you get that positive focus back, or that focus that you are wanting for that day. Okay, so that is positive anticipation. And then number 10 is about a good sleep regime. I know this can be really, really difficult in really, really difficult times, but your sleep regime is about your body regenerating itself. All right. You might not sleep as many hours that you would like. Some people sleep less. Some people want to sleep all of the time. All right. But it's about trying to keep a good sleep regime going. If you're not getting the amount of sleep that you need, then try and find a little bit of time in the day where you can have a little bit of catch-up time. All right. Because your sleep regime is going to help your body balance, regenerate itself, heal itself, and just refresh you. Okay, quite a difficult one, you know, when you're going through a really, really difficult time. Okay, so just to recap then, top 10 tips for keeping yourself sane. Remember to breathe, 5 minutes of cardio every morning, use essential oils, be mindful of what you're exposing yourself to, get fresh air every day, eat as healthily as you can, regular exercise during the week, practice your gratitude, practice your positive anticipation, and to do your best to get a good night's sleep. Okay, now all of this I've put into a mini e-course, okay, and because I think it's so important, it's actually not going to cost you a penny. It's free. Over a 10-day period, each day, if you register by going to www.kathloyd.co.uk, all right, you will see it there on the front cover. And once you've registered for 10 days, each day you will get one tip coming through so that you can build it up slowly. All right. Now, the essential oils one, which is tip number 3, I'm actually going to be doing a little webinar around 3 of the oils. Now, the oils that you can get little samples for so you can really take part in this webinar are going to be not the full size. If you want the full size, get in touch and I can get that ordered for you and sent that to you. This pack, it's a little introductory starter pack, is about £15. Okay, very, very good value actually. And it's got peppermint, lemon and lavender. Okay, so 3 really lovely oils. I use these a lot. Especially, those 2 in my first drink of the day, and then lavender is really great for calming and relaxation and getting your head clear. Okay. And the idea is that if you request the little sample of oils, when we do the webinar, you can experience what I'm experiencing or something very similar, because we all smell, we all take in smell slightly differently. You can experience it as we're going through. All right, so that is available by registering for my top 10 tips to keeping yourself sane. So you go to www.kathloyd.co.uk, register for the course, and then on day 3 you can request the 3 little samples of oils so that you can take part in the webinar. Okay, so quite a long let's talk today, but so much information I wanted to share with you to help you feel more balanced, to help you feel calmer, to keeping your sanity when it feels as if your sanity has totally gone crazy. All right, because if we can keep ourselves feeling sane, if we can keep ourselves on an emotional balance, we're going to be in a far better position to be able to manage. Okay, so quite a lot to take in, but you have got the option of registering for the mini e-course, which will go help you, and you can refer back to it. So let's talk next week. Is going to be back on a Wednesday, and I'm going to start going through the 7 strategies that I talk about in my book, When Dad Became Joan, Life with My Transgender Father. So 7 strategies, and we're going to be kicking off with the importance of values. Okay, so I'd love you to join me next Wednesday, the 31st of January at 8 o'clock, here live on Facebook. But until then, I hope that you found my top 10 tips to keeping yourself sane useful and helpful. And have a lovely evening, have a great week, and remember to breathe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.